4 of Terry Schultz. The 21 of Darren Porter going to be right there coming around on the outside into the number 3 spot as they come out of turn number 4. Drag race, Mark Davis going to take lap 1. Terry Schultz, Darren Porter, Ace O'Neill, and Ted Welshmeyer is how the field's lined out right now. Schultz going to be down to the bottom side as he's going to get the run off of 2 here. They're going to be door to door down into 3. Davis and Schultz door to door. Oh man, almost contact as you got a great battle for the race lead. Darren Porter sits back there in 3rd looking at the battle in front of him. Ted Welshmeyer back and 4th, and Ace O'Neill shuffled on back to 5th as we're going to be single file going down into turn number 3. Out of 4, it is all Mark Davis, Terry Schultz, Darren Porter, your top 3. You're going to be 2 wide. 1st and 2nd row through 3 and 4. Mark Davis squeezes ahead as they go down into 1 and 2. Ted Welshmeyer now jumped up to that number 3 spot as Welshmeyer starting to make a run on that number 2 spot. Schultz going to go right to the back bumper. Welshmeyer down to the bottom side as you come out of turn 4. It is Davis, Schultz, Welshmeyer. Good battle we got here in our Super Stocks for heat number 1. For the Les Hayes Memorial Championship night here at the mighty Midway Lebanon Speedway. As we're going to come out of turn number 4, you're going to see 2 laps to go. Throw a blanket on the top 4. Is this really anybody's race right now? As they come out of turn 4, you're going to see the doctor's jacket in the air. One more trip around. It's make it or break it time now. Schultz going to drive it down in, not going to get it to stick. Porter going to go down to the bottom side of Welshmeyer. They're going to go down the back stretch and into turn 3 for the final time in this heat race. Going to see the checkered flag for the 56 of Mark Davis, Terry Schultz, Ted Welshmeyer going to be 1, 2, and 3. All right, and that's going to wrap up heat number 1. For your Power Ice Super Stocks. Up next going to be heat number 2, and well, I tell you what, Charlie, I think you did a good job on that first heat. Let's see if you can do it again.
Row 1 on the inside, we have the 53 of Danny O'Neill. On the outside, we have the 10 of Jody Romig. Sorry. Row 2, we have the 16, 164 of Michael Muskrat. On the outside, we have the OMS of Scott Lampy, riding shotgun all by himself. Row 3, we have the B4 of Blaney. All
right, so it appears the OMS of Scott Lampy unable to make the call. So we started with 5, we're down to 4, and we ain't even dropped the green flag. As the lights are off, the flag man's doing the jig. Green cone, nope.
All right, we're going to come down the back stretch into turn 3 and 4. Green flag in the air. Danny O'Neill's going to come out, try to go one on the top.
Danny O'Neill going to have the race lead as they're going to be 2 wide back here for that number 3 spot. The 10 of Jody Roman going to be sitting there in 2nd. As we're kind of single filed out right now, here comes the B4 of Blaine Ewing. He's down to the bottom side, going to make it a door-to-door battle for 2nd. As Michael Muskrat's going to shuffle back into 4th, but out front the 53 of Danny O'Neill, all by himself like the chess club president on prom night, as they're going to go down to the high side of 1 and 2. Going to be taking the long way around. Ewing tries to get the run off of 2 down the back stretch, unable to make it stick. As Romig's going to hold on to that race lead, but look at here, Ewing's got the run now as you got a new man in 2nd.
As we're going to come down the backstretch, turn 3 and 4, we got Danny O'Neill, still your race leader, as Ewing going to come try to run him down. But Danny O'Neill is still holding the first place line as they come out of turn 1 and 2. Ewing's going to try to come up out. It's going to be door-to-door between, never mind. Coming out of turn 3 and 4, we have Danny O'Neill and Ewing. Danny O'Neill is coming out of turn 1 and 2. We got coming down the back stretch, turn 3 and 4. We got Ewing in first place now, as your new race leader is Ewing. Coming out of turn 1 and 2. It's going to be a battle between third place between Jody Roaming. White flag coming out of turn 1 and 2. Ewing going to be your race leader by a long ways away. We're going to come down the back stretch in turn 3 and 4 as Ewing's going to still be your race leader. Checkered flag in the air. Ewing, O'Neill, and Jody Roaming, and us.
So good run there. Blaine Ewing picking up the win. Danny O'Neill and Jody Romick going to be your top 3. Up next, going to be your Power Eye Midwest Modified. Heat number 1 on the pole going to be the 14 of John Newell, and on his outside, the 00M of Matt Brookshire. Row 2 going to be the 55 of Adriel Shepard and the 23 of Mark Simon. Row 3, you got the 64 of Pete Gots to go Richardson, into his outside, the 65 of the Opportunist Trent Wynn. Row 4 going to be the 87 of Aaron Odell, into his outside, the 28 of Wesley Briggs. All right, race fans, here we go. We're going to shut the lights off at the line, and that means we're going to have 1 to go. We're going to be green flag racing when they come out at turn number 4. So it appears that Adriel Shepard unable to make the call. So that's going to take us from 8 cars to 7 cars. Newell, Brookshire up there on that front row. Richardson and Simon, row number 2. Odell and Wynn, row 3. And Briggs going to be back there by himself. Down into 3, they're going to go green cone, green flag. Here we go. Heat number 1 for Midwest Modifieds. Oh, a little bit of bumping and banging down there through 1 and 2 as they're going to be slingshotting like a rocket down the back stretch. Matt Brookshire going to be your race leader as they come out of turn 4. Aaron Odell up into the slickery stuff as he's going to bring it back down onto the track. We're going to stay clean and green. As Brookshire going to be your race leader. Simon 2nd, Richardson 3rd, Wynn 4th, and Newell in 5th. As we come out of turn 4, you got a new race leader, the 23 of Mark Simon, going to be taking the top shelf. Brookshire holds on to 2nd, Richardson in 3rd, Wynn in 4th. Wesley Briggs trying to get up and around the 14 of John Newell back here for that number 5 spot. But Mark Simon still your race leader. Brookshire holds on to 2nd. Richardson trying to get something down on that bottom side working, as here comes Trent Wynn, going to try to poke his nose in there, make it a 3-car battle. He gets the door shut. 3 cars battling for 2nd. Mark Simon says, see ya, bye-bye, as he's going to lead the field out of turn number 4. Trent Wynn now up into the number 3 spot as Trent Wynn starting to take the top shelf. Trent Wynn's found something. He's into 3rd. He's into the back bumper of Brookshire. As Simon crosses the flag stand, we're going to see 2 to go. Trent Wynn up into that number 2 spot. Pete Richardson says, hey, I'm going to follow you. As they're going to go top side. Richardson not going to stick it. As we're going to come out of turn number 4. White flag. 1 to go for the 23 of Mark Simon. Oh, a little bit of contact between Brookshire and Richardson as I've seen some sparks coming off of them 2 cars. Richardson's going to get around him down the backstretch out of turn 4. We're going to see the checkered flag for the 23, Mark Simon. Oh, Trent Wynn goes up in the dirt. Richardson second, Brookshire third. And that's going to wrap up heat number 1 for your Midwest Modifieds. Up next is going to be heat number 2. I'm going to go ahead and read the lineup as they pull onto the track. Going to be the double OT at Trenton Brookshire on the pole into his outside, the 8K at Tyler Cadutston. Row number 2 going to be the 7C at Derek Cook and the 4 at Caleb Rhodes. Row 3 you got the 09 of Austin Beam and the 17 of Garrett Parker. And in that 4th row all by himself going to be the 7W of Wesley Breedlove. So heat number 2 out here on the track for your Power Eye Midwest Modifieds. We're going to send them around one more time to make sure that moisture is good and rolled in. And then we're going to shut the lights off and we're going to put the skinny pedal down. Lights are off, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to be green flag when they come out of turn number 4. 8 laps going to be the distance with 7 cars. Down the back stretch, Brookshire going to be on the pole. Cadutston out there on that outside pole. Down into turn 3. Green cone. Heat 2 is underway. Down the back stretch, the 8K. Tyler Cadutston's going to have the race lead. Here comes the 4 of Caleb Rhodes. As we're going to come out of turn number 4, it is Cadutston, Rhodes, Brookshire, your top 3. There's the 7C of Derek Cook. He's going to be up there trying to make it a 3-car battle for the number 2 spot. As we're going to be single file down the back stretch and into turn 3. Lap 2, still the 8K. Oh, no. Cook bobbled it. That's going to let the 17 of Garrett Parker slide up into the number 4 spot. Cook's going to get back on the throttle and try to run him back down. Tyler Cadunston up there in the lead. Followed in by Caleb Rhodes, Trenton Brookshire. That's the top 3. Is there a separation between first and second, and a separation between third and fourth, as there is a battle for 4th and 5th back here between Parker and Cook. As Cook bobbled it earlier in the race, still trying to recover. Oh, Trenton Brookshire goes up high out of turn 2, almost makes contact with the wall, gets it back down onto the track. He's going to hold on to that number 3 spot, as it is Tyler Cadunston, your race leader down the backstretch. He goes it into 3. Caleb Rhodes going to be sitting there in second. Yellow, yellow, yellow. Our first caution of the night comes out for the 09 of Austin Beam, as he loops it around over here, coming out of treacherous turn number 4. All right, here we go. Delaware double file restart. Tyler Cadunston going to be out front. Caleb Rhodes picking the high side. Trenton Brookshire going to be down there on the bottom side of row number 2, followed in by Garrett Parker, Derek Cook, Wesley Breedlove, Austin Beam. Out of turn 4, green flag going to be in the air as we got 2 more trips around. Derek Cook gets back up there. Oh, look at that. Derek Cook going to play a little Jeopardy and get the daily double 2-for-1 special. Oh, contact between Trenton and Parker. Parker's going to loop it around, park it. Yellow, yellow, yellow. Derek Cook, man, he shot out a 2, got the 2-for-1 special into 3rd. And then Trenton Brookshire and Garrett Parker made a little bit of contact coming out of 4, and that caused Parker to get loose and come around. Here we go. Lights are down. Green next time by. Tyler Cadunston still your race leader. Caleb Rhodes sits in 2nd, and Derek Cook up into that number 3 spot. Trenton Brookshire holds on to 4th after the last lap. Him and Parker had a little bit of contact, as we're going to go down into turn number 3. This is going to be a pretty sight. Watch the flagman. Green and white together. 1 to go. It's an all-out dogfight. Brookshire right to the bottom side of Cook. As they come out of turn 4, checkered flag for the AK, Tyler Cadunston, Caleb Rhodes, Trenton Brookshire, your top 3. Up next, ladies and gentlemen, going to be your Power Eye Pure Stocks. Heat number 1, and here's how they're going to line up on the pole. Going to be that 174 of Derek Lampy into his outside, the T10 of Samuel McDaniel. Row number 2 going to be the 21D of Darren Porter. And on his outside, the 25 of Aaron Ricks. Row number 3 going to be the 24 of Trevor Ellington and the 18 of Dalton Bell. And our 4th and final row, the 0 of James Reedus. Flag here for your first heat of pure stocks. Oh, a little bit of contact, playing a little bit of bumper cars. Derek Lampy going to jump out to that early race lead. As Samuel McDaniel going to be right there in that number 2 spot. Darren Porter going to be rounding out your top 3. Down the backstretch to 174. Derek Lampy's got the race lead. Samuel McDaniel holds on to second. Darren Porter third, but here comes the 24 of Trevor Ellington as he's going to try to run down that 21 machine. James Reedus up into the number 5 spot. Aaron Riggs and Dalton Bell rounds out your field as it is all Derek Lampy. Samuel McDaniel holds on to second. Now Porter down to the bottom side, not able to get it to stick. McDaniel's going to get the run out of 2 and down the back stretch. As Porter going to be right there to the back tire. Out of turn number 4. It is still the wagon power in the lead. Two to go. Porter still trying to get around the T10 of Samuel McDaniel. Derek Lampy still your race leader. Here comes Trevor Ellington. Ellington going to be to the back bumper of second and third as they're going to go down the back stretch and into 3. White flag, 1 to go. Out of turn 4, checkered flag for the 174 and Derek Lampy. Samuel McDaniel and Darren Porter, your top 3. And that will wrap up Heat 1 for your Power Eye Pure Stocks. Up next is going to be Heat number 2, and here's how they're going to line up. On the pole, going to be the 68 of Rhonda Lamke into her outside. The 23 of Mark Simon. Row 2 going to be the 12 of Greg Dykstra and the 21 of Carson Groniger. Row number 3 going to be the 111 of Ross Waters, and on his outside, the 5 of Justin McDowell. Green flag going to be in the air for heat number 2, Pure Stocks. Mark Simon jumps out to the early race lead. Rhonda Lamke holds on to second. Here comes Carson Groniger, Greg Dykstra, and McDowell. They're going to be right there, 2nd through 5th. Throw, oh, look out. Rhonda slides up the hill, chops the nose off Dykstra. As McDowell going to be down to the bottom side. Groniger going to be sitting there in second. Added money for our Pure Stock class here tonight, and these boys are hungry. Let me phrase that. These boys girl is hungry. The 23, Mark Simon, your race leader. Carson Groniger, Justin McDowell, your top three. Mark Simon got a good lead as Carson Groniger holds on to second. Justin McDowell has secured his spot in third. Greg Dykstra sitting in fourth or fifth, trying to get around Rhonda Lampke into that number 4 spot. Mark Simon coming out of the turns as Groniger and McDowell are going in. Simon a full straightaway lead as Groniger holds on to second. Justin McDowell third. Rhonda Lampke doing good, sitting in fourth. Greg Dykstra and Ross Waters holds on to that number 6 spot. 2 more trips around for the 23 of Mark Simon. White flag, 1 to go for the 23 of Mark Simon as he's got an even bigger lead. Justin McDowell still trying to find a line to get around the 21 of Carson Groniger. Greg Dykstra almost loops it, takes a shortcut through the infield and jumps back into the race as Mark Simon going to take the checkered flag. Carson Groniger, Justin McDowell, your top 3. Oh, look out, Justin McDowell almost spun it out on the backstretch after the checkered. Up next, ladies and gentlemen, going to be heat number 3 for your POWRi Pure Stocks, and it's going to be the 21P of Peyton McDowell on the pole, and to his outside, the OMS of Scott Lampy. Row number 2 on the inside going to be the 4G of Shane Headley and the 9P of Mike Piercy. Row number 3, you got the 23R of Jeff Reed and the N42 of Chad Nivens. So we are door to door. Lights are off. We're going to be green flag out of turn 4 with the final heat race in your POWRi Pure Stock division here tonight at the Les Hayes Memorial Championship night, the final night at the Mighty Midway. Green flag going to be in the air for heat number 3. Peyton McDowell jumped out to an early race lead as Shane Headley going to be holding on to that number 2 spot. Here comes the 9P of Mike Piercy. He's on the attack, on the hunt, and on the prowl as we're going to come through 3 and 4. Peyton McDowell, your race leader. Shane Headley going to hold on to that number 2 spot, but Piercy, he's on the move. He's down to the bottom side of Scott Lampy there as Lampy's going to get the run out of 4. Piercy holds on to 4th as it is Peyton McDowell, your race leader. Shane Headley 2nd. The OMS of Scott Lampy in 3rd, and then Mike Piercy 4th. But the battle is still underway between Lampy and Piercy. Now Nivens trying to get in there and poke his nose. We got a race from 3rd on back. Look at that, look at that. The N42 swapping it up, going on down to the bottom side. As Piercy comes right to the back bumper of Lampy and says, hey, guy, you got to get out of my way. Contact between Nivens and Piercy. Nivens is all over the 9P there. He says that car looks a little too new. We got to put a few scratches on it. Peyton McDowell, your race leader. Shane Headley, Scott Lampy, your top 3. Now Jeff Reed's going to get up there and around. As Jeff Reed going to try to get into that number 4 spot as they go down the back stretch. Jeff Reed's got 4th. 2 to go for the 21P of Peyton McDowell. Shane Headley, Scott Lampe, but here comes the 23R of Jeff Reed as he's down to the bottom side of Lampe, trying to get up into the top 3. White flag for the 21P as he's got one more trip around. Shane Headley better stomp on the loud pedal because they're coming. Coming out of turn number 4, your race leader, the 21 of Peyton McDowell, going to take the checkered. Out of 4 for the rest of the field, Shane Headley second, and Jeff Reed taking home that top 3. And here comes heat number 1 for your Power IB mods out onto the track. And Charlie, why don't you give us this lineup?
Starting on row 1 in the inside, we have the 42J of Donnie Jackson. On the outside, we have the 16 of Brian Myers. Row 2, we have the number 2 of Eric Graves. On the outside, we have the 5 of Robert White. Row 3, we have the 55G of Luke Gideon. On the outside, we have the 195 of Tyler Dawson. All right, race fans, we're going to go down the back stretch and turn 3 and 4. Green flag in the air. We're going to have Donnie Jackson coming out of turn 1 and 2. 16 of Brian Myers is going to try to get ahead of Donnie Jackson as we're going to come down the back stretch. There's going to be a battle between third place between Donnie and Robert White. As we're going to come down turn 1 and 2, there's going to be a battle between first place between Donnie Jackson and Brian Myers. As we come down to turn 3 and 4, Brian Myers is going to try the low side. He's going to try to sweep his way up there, but Donnie Jackson's going to say, nope, not today. And coming out of turn 1 and 2, Donnie Jackson pulled it away from Brian Myers as they come down the back stretch. Turn 3 and 4 is Donnie Jackson still your race leader, as Brian Myers is going to try to come up. And coming out of turn 1 and 2, they're going to be door to door as we're going to come into the back stretch into turn 1 and 2. And into turn 3 and 4, your new race leader is Brian Myers, but then Donnie Jackson passes him. We're going to be door to door between Brian Myers and Donnie Jackson, as Donnie Jackson's going to get away from him as we come down the back stretch in turn 3 and 4. And Donnie Jackson's going to get a little bit wiggly, and that's going to cause Donnie Jackson to get away from Brian Myers, but Brian Myers is going to try to make his way back up there into the try to get his way back up into the number 1 spot. But Donnie Jackson's going to Donnie Jackson's too fast for Brian Myers. Brian Myers, your new race leader is Brian Myers as we come into turn 1 and 2. Donnie Jackson, it's going to be door-to-door battle for first place as Donnie Jackson's and as Brian Myers is going to speed away from Donnie Jackson as we come out of turn 3 and 4. White flag in the air for Brian Myers. Up into turn 1 and 2, Brian Myers is going to slowly pass Donnie Jackson as we come out of turn 3 and 4. As 1 lap left to go, we're going to have a checkered flag in the air for Brian Myers, Donnie Jackson, and then Robert White.
And that's going to wrap up heat number 1. Up next is going to be heat number 2 for your Power IB mods, and here's how they're going to line up. On the pole, going to be the 5C of Brian Cook and to his outside, the 77 of Jeremy Hazel. Row number 2 going to be the 55 of Colson Kirk and to his outside, the 55K of Terry Kirk. Row number 3 going to be the 68 of Donnie Betts and the 14C of Cody Crabtree. Out of turn number 4, green flag going to be in the air for heat number 2. Oh, look at the 3-car battle we had down the front stretch at the start. Brian Cook slides up, chops the nose off Hazel. Here comes the 2 Kirks, Colson and Terry, as they're going to be down on the bottom side. Colson Kirk in the red 55, Terry in the white 55. As it is an all-out battle in the mid-pack here. Oh, man, Brian Cook kind of got a little squirrely, chopped the nose off of Terry Kirk. Colson Kirk says, see you, bye-bye, boys, have fun. As he's going to have the race lead down through 1 and 2. Brian Cook going to hold on to second. Terry Kirk third. Jeremy Hazel fourth. Crabtree fifth. And Donnie Betts going to be sitting in that number 6 spot. Oh, Cook went a little too high. That's going to let Kirk come around. So now you got the 2. Oh, Cook goes high again. That lets Hazel come around. Brian Cook bobbled it through 3 and 4, 1 and 2, allowing 2 cars to come around. Colson Kirk, your race leader. Terry Kirk second. Jeremy Hazel third. And Brian Cook's hold on to that number 4 spot. We're going to come out of turn 4 with your race leader, the 55K of Colson Kirk. Terry Kirk there in second. Oh, I apologize. The 55 is Colson Kirk. The 55K is Terry Kirk. I'm pretty sure they're related, but I'm not sure. But right now, the race leader going to be the 55 of Colson Kirk. Well, I've just been informed you got a father-son duo out there. Here comes the young gun, the son, Colson Kirk to the white flag. His dad going to follow up behind him in second to the white flag. Jeremy Hazel going to be third. Brian Cook trying to get up to 4th as Donnie Betts slides in. Down into 3 with your race leader for the final time. You're going to see the checkered flag for the 55 of Colson Kirk. Terry Kirk second and Jeremy Hazel going to be your top 3.
Race fans, we're going to start heat 3 like this, reading off whoever the drivers are. Starting on the inside, number 1 on the inside row, the 65 himself, Chris Jackson. On the outside, we have the 21 of Joshua Reddy. Row 2, we have the Apex Predator, Derek Watson. Number is 5W. On the outside, we have the 18 of Austin Joplin. Row 3, we have the 20D of Dawson David. On the outside, we have the 49 of Mason Rodden. Green flag in the air. We're going to come out the back stretch and turn 3 and 4 as Chris Jackson's going to make his way to the flag stand as Derek Watson's going to fall right behind him coming out of turn 1 and 2. Derek Watson's going to try to move his way up to that number 1 spot as we come down the back stretch and turn 3 and 4. Derek Watson's going to go low Watson's going to try to go low on Chris Jackson. Chris Jackson's going to fling some sparks out the way. Coming out of turn 1 and 2, Chris Jackson's going to try to pull away from Derek Watson. But Derek Watson's not going to happen. But there's going to be a 3-wide battle in the backfield for 3rd place. But at front, we have Chris Jackson still in your race lead. But then we got Derek Watson coming down the back stretch. Derek Watson's going to try to go low again to get into the first. Derek Watson. But still your race leader is Chris Jackson coming out of turn 1 and 2. And 3rd is Austin Joplin. But then coming down the back stretch, turn 3 and 4, we got Chris Jackson and Derek Watson going to try to make his way up as Chris Jackson's going to try to slowly pull his way away from him. But coming out of turn 1 and 2, Chris Jackson's going to get away from Derek Watson, but Derek Watson's going to gain a little bit of speed on him. Derek Watson's going to try to go low so he can get there. But Austin Joplin, there's a gap between 3rd, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. but then Derek Watson's going to try to fill the gap for first and second. Chris Jackson doesn't want that to happen. After he comes out of turn 3 and 4, Chris Jackson's going to try to pull away as it's white flag in the air. Coming at turn 1 and 2, Chris Jackson's still your race leader as Derek Watson's going. Chris Jackson's going to pull away from Derek Watson, but Derek Watson doesn't want that to happen as he wants to pull first. But Chris Jackson, checker flag in the air for Chris Jackson, Derek Watson, and Austin Joplin.
All right, race fans, here we go. Down the back stretch. 15 laps going to be the distance for the final feature of the night. Or I'm sorry, the first feature of the night. I got a little ahead of myself. First feature of the night, green cone, green flag, 15 trips around. Oh, look at this. They're bumping and banging out down the backstretch. Blaine Ewing's going to lead them on in to turn 3 and 4 as we come out of turn number 4 to lap 1. Going to go to Blaine Ewing, Terry Schultz, Ted Welshmeyer going to be your top 3.
Coming down the back stretch, we got number 4 in here. Coming out of turn 3 and 4, we got number 4 in the race leader. As the other number 4 is going to try to catch up while going into the turn number 1 and 2. As we're coming out of turn 1 and 2, number 21 is going to try to catch up to the 4 in second place.
Down to 3 and 4, your race leaders go. It's going to be Blaine Ewing, Terry Schultz, and Ted Welshmeyer, your top 3. Danny O'Neill going to be sitting in second. Michael Muskrat 4th. Oh, look out. Davis kind of come across the front side of Porter as Davis is going pit side. It is Blaine Ewing to the race lead. Terry Schultz, Ted Welshmeyer, they got almost a full straightaway lead on the man in 4th. It's going to be the 53 of Danny O'Neill. Michael Muskrat going to be sitting in top 5.
Powder past the flag stand. As we come in turn 1 and 2, we got Ewing in first place. Going to try to catch up to Schultz, but number 21 of Welshmeyer is going to try to catch up to come down the backstretch. Schultz is going to try to cut low, but Ewing's going to take it through. Ewing's coming out of turn 1 and 2. Ewing's going to have a gap in between second place and first place. Number 20, there's going to be a tiny gap to second to third. But Welshmeyer is going to try to close that gap up as Schultz is going to try to close the. As we come down the backstretch, Welshmeyer is going to try to pass the 04 of Terry Schultz. As still your race leader, we got Ewing in first place as there's going to be a battle between second place coming down the backstretch in turn 3 and 4. Because Welshmeyer is going to try to cut low on the 04 of Terry.
Blaine Ewing got the race lead as he comes out of 2 down the back stretch. Terry Schultz, Ted Welshmeyer battling it out for second and third. As Danny O'Neill's trying to hold on to fourth. Here comes Michael Muskrat. Michael Muskrat to the number 4 spot. O'Neill going to shuffle back into fifth. Darren Porter sits there in sixth, followed in by Jody Romick and Ace O'Neill. Ace O'Neill's about to have some company as your race leader, about to pick off the first lap car of the feature. As we're going to go down the front stretch and into 1 and 2. Ewing makes quick work of Ace O'Neill there down the back stretch. Terry Schultz still holds on to second. As we come out of turn 4, you're going to see 2 more trips around. Down the back stretch, they're going to go the 10 of Jody Romick, about to have some company as their race leader right on the back bumper. Here you go, Doctor's Jacket, checkers or wreckers. As we're going to go down the front stretch and into 1 and 2 for the final time in the first feature of the night here at the championship night at the mighty Midway. Down into 3, coming out of turn number 4. Checkered flag for the B4 of Blaine Ewing, Terry Schultz, Ted Welshmeyer, your top 3. All right, so the first feature of the night for our championship night, the Les Hayes Memorial, down there in Lazy Lee's one-stop number 4 Victory Lane. I just realized both of our camera crews are wearing red shirts. Remember when photography, red shirt, Unforgotten Shots, red shirt, they Twinkies. So down there in Victory Lane, brought to you by Lazy Lee's one-stop number 4. Ladies and gentlemen, you're going to have to make some noise for our first feature winner of the night. As he gets all of his safety equipment undone, the B4 of Blaine Ewing. So congratulations to our Victory Lane winner. We also got 3 other champions that we need to make a shout out tonight. So your points champion for the 2024 season going to be the 56 of Mark Davis. Second place in points going to go to the 53 of Danny O'Neill. And third place in points goes to the 164 of Michael Muskrat. So congratulations to our victors, both in the race and the points champion, as well as the man in second and third. And that, ladies and gentlemen, will close the book on the POWRi Superstocks here at the mighty Midway. So we're down there with our top 3 in points. The 53 right there of Danny O'Neill, that's the man in second. The 164 there, that is Michael Muskrat. He got 3rd in points. Our points champion, the 56 of Mark Davis, he had to pull off earlier in the race due to a car malfunction. So we're down there, got Michael Muskrat, the man who got 3rd in our points champion. Hey Joshua, you need to check your phone. I sent you something. I see you. All right, race fans. That's going to wrap up your PowerEye Super Stocks for the 2024 season. Now it's time for our second feature of the night, going to be your PowerEye Midwest Modifieds. And here's how they're going to line up on the pole. Going to be the 23 of Mark Simon into his outside, the AK of Tyler Cadunston.
Row 2, we have the 64 of Pete Richardson. On the outside, we have the 4 of Caleb Rhodes.
Row number 3, going to be the 28 of Wesley Briggs and the 00T of Trenton Brookshire.
Row 4, we have the 00 of Matt Brookshire. On the outside, we have the 7C of Derek Cook.
Row number 5, you got the 17 of Garrett Parker and the 14 of John Newell.
Row 6, we have the 87 of Aaron Odell. On the outside, we have the 7W of Wesley Breedlove.
Row number 7 going to be the 09 of Austin Beam and the 65 of Trent Wynn, and riding shotgun in row number 8, the 55 of Adriel Shepard. All right, race fans, here we go. It is time for feature number 2. 15 laps, gonna be the distance. 1 to go from the starter stand. We're gonna turn the lights off. They're gonna be green flag out of turn 4. Mark Simon, Tyler Caduceton on that front row. Richardson, Rhodes. Row number 2, followed in by Briggs and Brookshire. It's about to get rowdy. Down into turn number 3, Keith the flag man's gonna do the jig. Here we go, Midwest Modifieds at Midway. Mark Simon out front, but he's got, oh, look out, Brookshire almost got a little sideways. He'll get her straightened back out as we're going to go down into turn 3 and 4. Out of 4, you got a drag race for the line. Simon by a nose. Richardson second, Caduceton in third. Yellow. The 09 of Austin Beam loops it around down here through 3 and 4. Lights are off. Delaware double file restart as we're going to go down the back stretch. And into 3, led in by the 23 of Mark Simon. And the pink and black car, Richardson second, Caduceton third. Out of 4, green flags back in the air with 14 to go. Oh, John Newell up into the backside of Trent Wynn. But we're going to keep everybody rolling. We're clean and green. Simon still your leader. Caduceton now up into the number 3 spot. Oh, Briggs is off the power. Wesley Briggs was off the power. Now he's back on the power. Top 5 going down into 3 and out of 4. It is Mark Simon, Tyler Caduceton, Pete Richardson, Caleb Rhodes, Trenton Brookshire. Oh, Wesley Breedlove and Matt Brookshire get together. Again, we're going to stay clean and green. Trent went back here trying to pick off cars left and right, trying to make his way to the front. Oh, Austin Beam into the front stretch wall. Mark Simon about to be running up to the backside of the 09 of Austin Beam. As Tyler Caduceton holds on to second, Pete Richardson third, followed in by Caleb Rhodes and Trenton Brookshire as your top 5. Oh, Austin Beam all over the place, coming out of 2 down the backstretch. Not sure if he's got something mechanically wrong with the car or what. Oh, Richardson had to get on the brakes. As we got cars at every single spot on this track. As yellow. Yellow is out for the 65 of Trent Wynn. Delaware double file restart. Mark Simon still your race leader. He picked up the win here last Friday night. Can he do it again tonight on the championship night? As we're going to shut the lights off and be green flag when they come out of turn number 4. Down the back stretch we go. Led in by Mark Simon down into 3. Green flag is in the air. Down the front stretch and into 1 and 2. We're going to hustle on in. Richardson got a good jump there as he's going to be up into the number 2 spot. Trenton Brookshire down to the bottom side of Caduceton. There he is. Rhodes going to be there as well. As Caduceton sits into 3rd, Rhodes moves into 4th. And Brookshire shuffles back into 5th. Mark Simon still your race leader. Richardson going to try to run him down. As Caleb Rhodes down to the bottom side of Tyler Cadunston, trying to get up and around him into the top three. Great battle for third between the 8K and the 4. As Trenton Brookshire shuffle back into fifth, watching the battle unfold. Garrett Parker to the infield. The 17 of Garrett Parker shoots to the infield, but he's down far enough. We're going to stay green. Mark Simon, your race leader. Yellow, yellow, yellow. So the 14 of John Newell loops it around over there coming out of turn number 2. Bringing out another caution. Delaware double file. Pete Richardson going to be out in that number 2 spot, and he's going to pick the bottom side. I'm getting all tongue-tied up here. Mark Simon is the race leader. So it is Mark Simon, Pete Richardson, Tyler Cadunston, Caleb Rhodes, Trenton Brookshire, your top 5. 1 to go from the starter's stand. We're going to shut the lights off, and they're going to be green flag when we come out of turn 4. 12 down, 3 laps to go. Down into 3. Down into 3 we're going to go. Coming out of turn number 4. Green flag's going to be in the air. Yellow, 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 yellow. So I think we got debris over here in the middle of 3 and 4. So it appears that somebody didn't tighten the bolts on their header. What? So I'm being told it is the 55 of Adriel Shepard that lost the header. Me personally, I say run it. Last race. Just send it.
right, race fans. We're going to stack them and pack them. Coming down the back stretch in turn 3 and 4. Green flag in the air. The 23 of Mark Simon going to take it out as we come into turn 1 and 2. We got the 64 of Pete Richardson going to try to make his run up on Mark Simon, but Mark Simon's got a really good gap in between Pete Richardson and the AK of Tyler Cudumson. Or, yeah, that's Mark Simon. As we come out of turn 1 and 2, Mark Simon still your race leader. But Tyler Cudumson went down a spot as Pete Richardson's going to try to move up to that number 1 spot as Mark Simon going to keep. Caution, caution, caution. The 4 of Caleb Rhodes spins it out in turn 3 and 4. All right, we're going to try it again. Coming out of turn 3 and 4, green flag in the air. Pete Richardson's going to try to make a run up on Mark Simon coming out of turn 1 and 2. As Tyler Cudumson's going to try to creep his way up to Pete Richardson. There's a gap between Mark Simon and Pete Richardson as Pete Richardson's going to try to cover it. Mark Simon's going to get faster and faster. White flag in the air. We got 1 lap to go. Coming out of turn 1 and 2 as Pete Richardson and Mark Simon have a really bad gap. It's going to be checkered flag for Mark Simon at your number 1 spot, and then Pete Richardson and then Tyler Cudumson. Your number 1 person.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, down there in Lazy Lee's one stop number 4, Victory Lane. Going to be your Power Eye Midwest Modified feature winner here on Championship Night, the Les Hayes Memorial. The 23 of Big Daddy Mark Simon. So down there along with Mark Simon in Victory Lane, we got our top 3 in points. So our points champion for the 2024 season is going to be the 65 of the Opportunist, Trent Wynn. The man in second going to be the 64 of Pete Gots to Go Richardson. And our third place points winner, the 7C of Derek Digger Cook. And then, of course, we can't forget about the Twinkies down there. Ooh, we could go Theme 1 and Theme 2. Actually, Josh prefers to be called Theme A. You can also call him Super Theme, Theme King, Chocolate Thunder, or Ben. I can't hear a word you're saying, Josh, but I see your lips moving. And I see arm motions. That's like you're trying to land a plane. Oh, you want to play football? Okay, you want to play. Well, after the races. After, I think I got a football in the car, so we'll play after. Is it tackle or two-hand touch? He's probably going to hit me with his truck. All right, race fans. As we get our top three in points pictures taken, the 64 Pete Richardson just pulled off. He got second. Derek Cook going to be there in that 7C, got third. And the man coming up behind him in the 65 going to be your track champion, the Trent Wynn. Our next feature of the night is going to be one of the reasons that we're here tonight, the Les Hayes Memorial. Les Hayes drove the number 69 Pure Stock, beloved racer, friend, and track fanatic. So here's how the Power Eye Pure Stock's going to line up. On the pole, going to be the 23 of Mark Simon, and on his outside, the 174 of Derek Lampy. Row number 2, going to be the 21P of Peyton McDowell, and his outside, the 21 of Carson Groniger. Row 3, you got the 4G of Shane Headley and the 5 of Justin McDowell. Row 4 on the inside, the T10 of Samuel McDaniel and the 23R of Jeff Reed. Row 5 going to be the 21D of Darren Porter and the 24 of Trevor Ellingson. Row 6, you got the 68 of Rhonda Lampke and the OMS of Scott Lampy. Row 7, you got the 0 of James Reedus on the inside and to his outside, the N42 of Chad Nivens. Row 8, you got the 111 of Ross Waters and the 12 of Greg Dykstra. Row 9 going to be the 25 of Aaron Ricks and the 9P of Mike Piercy. And our 10th and final row, all by his lonesome, going to be the 18 of Dalton Bell. For you, so I want to see some moves, okay? After your picture, I want you to break it down and get jiggy with it, okay? Hold up, hold the phone. Wait a minute. I totally forgot about this. And I was just reminded. Ron and Marilyn Myers, can you please stand up? I see Marilyn. Ron's already standing. Ladies and gentlemen, right down here to the left of my announcer's booth, they are celebrating 60 years of marriage. How in the world have you put up with him for that long? Well, congratulations, Ron and Marilyn. 60 years of marriage. We appreciate you for spending it right here at the mighty Midway in Lebanon, Missouri. Before of Derek Lampy's being helped back to the pits, it looks like his night is done, ladies and gentlemen. So that's going to restack the whole field. Simon and McDowell out front. Groniger, Headley, row 2. McDowell, McDaniel, Reed, Porter, Elliotson, Lampke, Lampy, Reedus.
Okay, race fans, let's start the 20-lap race after they come out off the green tire. We're going to come down the back stretch into turn 3 and 4. And come green flag in the air. Mark Simon and Greg Dykstra is going to have a battle between first place. Mark Simon got a little bit of as Peyton. Oh my! Mark Simon just took a short. Mark Simon just went through the end zone as we have a battle between Carson Dykstra and Peyton McDowell. I think Peyton McDowell's in first. Caution. All right, race fans, we're going to go down turn 3 and 4. Green flag in the air. Peyton McDowell still your race leader as we're going to go past the flag stand. There's going to be a battle between Carson Dykstra. Carson Dykstra is pulling it off in second place as we go down the back stretch. 21 of Peyton McDowell is still your first lead. As they come down past the flag stand, there's going to be a battle between second place between Mark Simon. And Mark Simon's going to cut it off in second place. Mark Simon's going to try to make him coming down the back stretch in turn 3 and 4. Peyton McDowell's going to go over 3 and 4. Caution! Coming down the back stretch in turn 3 and 4. We're going to be green flag in the air. Carson Dykstra is going to be your race leader coming down the pack. Flag stand coming out of turn 1 and 2. Mark Simon going to try to make his way up number 1 spot. But Carson Dykstra is going to be holding that number 1 spot as Mark Simon is going to try to take it up to the top. Mark Simon is going to try to cut him off on the bottom as they come into turn 1 and 2. Mark Simon, your new race leader, as he cuts him off. Carson Dykstra is not going to let that slide so easy. Mark Simon's going to get a little bit ahead of him as they come out of turn 3 and 4. Ooh, caution, pile up. Caution, turn 3 and 4. lights are off. We're going to stack them and pack them. As we come down the backstretch and then into turn 3 and 4 is where we're going to see the green flag up in the air. Green flag in the air. Mark Simon going to get a little bobby coming out of the turns. We're going to come down the backstretch after we pass the first lap. Mark Simon's going to have a little bit of a gap between second place. Carson Gregshaw's going to have a gap between third. There's going to be a gap between first and second. As we come out of turn 1 and 2, Mark Simon still your race leader. Coming out of the backstretch, turn 3 and 4. As we're about to pass the flag stand, Mark Simon still your race leader. He has a huge gap coming out of turn 1 and 2.
Back here behind your race leader, Mark Simon. You got the 220. You got the 221s battling out. The 21 of Carson Groninger, the 21P of Darren Porter. They're going to be battling out for second and third. Shane Headley going to be sitting in fourth. James Reed is fifth. Jeff Reed sixth. As Porter now going to get up in front of Carson Groninger. Into that number 2 spot. Shane Headley holds on to fourth. Reed up into fifth. As we got cars spread out all over the field, you got battles everywhere you look. You got a battle for second and third, a battle for 4th through 6th, a battle for 7th through 9th, 10th through 13th battle. Oh, McDowell got into the side of Piercy, but we're going to stay clean and green. As Mark Simon, your race leader, been in charge since the drop of green. Darren Porter coming down the backstretch. Jeff Reed now up into the number 3 spot as they go down into turn 3 and 4. It is Simon, Porter, Reed, Groninger, Headley, and Reedus.
We're going to come down the backstretch in turn 3 and 4. Mark Simon's going to be holding a humongous gap between second place and the first. But we're going to come past the flag stand. We're going to come into turn 1 and 2. 23 is going to be gaining on number 21 as Mark Simon's going to come down the backstretch turn 3 and 4. He's gaining some more. He's gaining a bigger gap than ever. As we come down into turn 1 and 2. Mark Simon's going to be flying through the turns as we have the 21 of Darren Porter coming out of turn 3 and 4. But the number 23 of Jeff Reed is going to try to pass him.
Jeff Reed now to the back bumper of Darren Porter. James Reed is going to slide up into that number 4 spot. Mark Simon, your race leader, got heavy lap traffic in front of him. Let's see how he handles it, see if he can get through clean and clear down the back stretch. Simon's going to get around him. Jeff Reed now down to the bottom side of Darren Porter. Jeff Reed going to come up into the number 2 spot. As we got a tire way out in the middle of the track. Simon, your race leader out front in charge. Jeff Reed sits in second, but Darren Porter's not backing down. Darren Porter right there next to him, door to door. James Reed is going to be sitting in fourth, followed in by Shane Headley and Justin McDowell. Oh, Porter kind of got into the side. Oh, Mark Simon spins it. Yellow, yellow, yellow. Oh, no. So we got 17 laps down, 3 to go. So the OMS of Scott Lampy's going pit side. The T10 of Samuel McDaniel going pit side. All right, we got them straightened back out the way they're supposed to be. We're going to shut the lights off. Jeff Reed, your race leader. Darren Porter second, James Reedus. Then McDowell, Groniger, Piercy, McDowell, Simon. Nivens, Ricks, Lamke, and McDowell. Down the back stretch, we are going to go fill the work on into turn number 3 for the 20-lap main event in the Pure Stocks. Green flag is in the air. Jeff Reed going to lead them out of 1 and 2 and down the back stretch. James Reed is going to be sitting there in second. Darren Porter. Oh, Porter slides up hard into the wall. Yellow, 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 yellow. All right, race fans, we're going to go single file restart. Shutting the lights off. Jeff Reed, James Reedus, Peyton McDowell, row 3, or top 3. Carson Groniger, Mike Piercy, Justin McDowell, Mark Simon. Your car's on the lead lap. Down into 3, we're going to go. Jeff Reed, your leader, out of turn 4. Green flag is going to be in the air. Down in the 1 and 2, we're going to be through clean and clear. Peyton McDowell jumps up to the race lead. As Jeff Reed's going to try to hold on, we're going to cross the stripe. It is Reed, McDowell, Reedus, Groniger, Piercy, Simon. Simon trying to get back up there. Oh, look how Piercy goes around. Everybody's going to avoid. Piercy going to stomp on the loud pedal and stay rolling. White flag, 1 to go for the 23R of Jeff Reed. Down the back stretch, they're going to go for the final time into 3. Out of turn number 4, checkered flag for the 23R at Jeff Reed. Peyton McDowell, James Reedus, your top 3. So, ladies and gentlemen, down there in Lazy Lee's one stop number 4, Victory Lane, gonna be your Power Eye Pure Stock feature winner for the Les Hayes Memorial and Championship Night. Make some noise for the 23R of Jeff Reed. So congratulations to Jeff Reed for closing the chapter on the Pure Stocks here at the mighty Midway with a feature win. So the car pulling up there right now going to be the N42 of Chad Nivens, who's going to be your second place in the points standings for the 2024 season.
24 Ellingson is third in points.
The 24 of Trevor Ellingson going to take home third in the point standings. And your points champion for the 2024 season going to be the 21 of Peyton McDowell. All right, race fans, as we get ready to roll out our final feature of the night, that's going to be your Power Eye B mods. And here's how the lineup's going to go. On the pole, going to be the 55 of Colson Kirk, into his outside, the 16M of the Batman, Brian Myers. Row number 2 on the inside, going to be Mr. J2 himself, the 65 of Chris Jackson. And on the outside of row 2, going to be the 55K of Terry Kirk. Row 3, going to be the 5W of the Apex Predator, Derek Watson. And on his outside, the 42J of Donnie Jackson. Row number 4 on the inside, going to be the 5 of Robert White. And on the outside, the 18 of the high side hustler, Austin Joplin. Row 5, going to be the 77 of Jeremy Hayes, on the 68 of Donnie Betts. Row 6, you got the 20D of Dawson David. And the 2 of Eric Graves. Row 7 going to be the 195 of Tyler Dawson, and on his outside the 5C of Brian Cook. Row 8 you got the 24 of Joshua Reddy and the 55G of Luke Gideon, and your 9th and final row going to be the 14C of Cody Crabtree and the 49 of Mason Roden. right, race fans, as they come to the line, we're going to shut the lights off, and they're going to be green flag next time by 15 laps. Going to be the distance for the final feature of the night. Don't forget, we got Powderpuff races and mechanics races after this. So again, don't forget Powderpuff races and mechanics races coming up next after this feature. Down the back stretch, they're going to go. Kirk Myers on that front row. Green flag is in the air. We're going to go down to the 1 and 2. Everybody's going to be clean and clear as we go down the back stretch and into 3. Colson Kirk going to lead them. Out of turn 4, lap 1. Oh, contact down in 3 and 4, but we're going to stay rolling. As Colson Kirk's going to take lap 1, but he's got Brian Myers, Chris Jackson, Terry Kirk, and Derek Watson all over the back bumper. Robert White off the power. And he's moving. And it looks like, oh, look how Myers goes around. Yellow, yellow, yellow for the 16M of Brian Myers. Lights are off. We're going to be green flag when they come out of turn number 4. Down to 3, out of turn 4. Here we go. Green flags with modifieds. Oh, somebody just went slamming into the wall over here at the top of turn 1. That looks like the 55 of Luke Gideon missed the exit to the pits. Here we go, bumper to bumper, single file restart, ladies and gentlemen. Lights are down. No passing till the green flag comes out. All right, so we had one car trying to double it up, but we're not going double, we're going single. Colson Kirk, Chris Jackson, Terry Kirk, Derek Watson, Donnie Jackson, your top 5. Donnie Betts, Dawson David, Eric Graves, Joshua Reddy, Jeremy Hazel, Cody Crabtree, Tyler Dawson, Brian Cook, Mason Roden, and Brian Myers rounds out the field. Down the back stretch, we're going to go single file. Out of 4, green flag going to be in the air. We're down through 1 and 2. Everybody's clean and clear. And we're going to go down the back stretch and into 3 and out of 4. It is Colson Kirk. Derek Watson now up into the number 3 spot in front of the 55K and Terry Kirk. And we're going to go down into 3. It looks like Brian Cook over here at the top of turn 1. All right, race fans, lights are off as we're going to be bumper to bumper down the back stretch and into 3. Green flag is in the air. Colson Kirk, your race leader. Chris Jackson, yellow, 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 yellow. So Mason Roden getting a help back to the pits as it appears he has broke something on the front end. Single file restart, ladies and gentlemen. Lights are going off at the line. We're going to be green flag when they come out of turn 4. All right, here we go, ladies and gentlemen, down the back stretch. Green flag is in the air. We're clean and clear through 1 and 2. Colson Kirk going to be your race leader as they go down into 3 and 4. They're going to cross the stripe. We got 5 down, 10 to go. Everybody's running good right now as we're going to come out of turn 4 with your race leader, the 55 of Colson Kirk. Chris Jackson, Derek Watson, your top 3. Look how Crabtree goes around, and Brian Cook spins to avoid it. Yellow, yellow, yellow. Here we go, race fans. Lights are off. We're going to be green flag when they come out of turn number 4. Green flag is in the air. 6 down, 9 to go. Down through 1 and 2. So far, everybody's clean and clear. As we're going to come out of turn 4 with your race leader, the 55 of Colson Kirk. Chris Jackson going top shelf, trying to run him down. Derek Watson going to be sitting there in 3rd, followed in by Terry Kirk, Donnie Jackson. Here comes the 20D of Dawson David. Down to the bottom side. Uh-oh, Graves gets up top side. He's going to bring it back down. As Chris Jackson closing the distance on Colson Kirk. Jackson now to the back quarter panel. Out of turn 2 down the back stretch. Jackson still at the quarter panel there of Colson Kirk. Jackson goes top side. Now you got Chris Jackson to the race lead in the 65. Colson Kirk shuffles back to 2nd. Derek Watson sits in 3rd. Terry Kirk and Dawson David now up into the number 5 spot. So it is Chris Jackson, your leader. Colson Kirk, Derek Watson, top 3. Terry Kirk, Dawson David, top 5. Donnie Jackson, Joshua Reddy, Eric Graves, Donnie Betts, Jeremy Hazel, Brian Myers, Cody Crabtree, and Tyler Dawson round out the field. Two laps to go for the final feature of the 2024 season. Down the back stretch, they're going to go into 3, led in by the 65 of Chris Jackson out of turn number 4. White flag, it's make it or break it time. Colson Kirk's got to make a move right now if he's going to make it happen. Down the back stretch, they're going to go for the final time. Into 3, coming out of turn number 4 to the checkered flag, the 65 of Chris Jackson. Colson Kirk, Derek Watson, your top 3. Well, ladies and gentlemen, down there in Lazy Lee's one-stop number 4, Victory Lane, your feature winner, the 65 of Mr. J2 himself, Chris Jackson. So coming up next, you got Powderpuff races. And then after the Powderpuff races, we got Powderpuff full body cars, then Powderpuff modifieds, and then we're going to do mechanics races, mechanics full body cars, and then mechanics modifieds. All right, so for the Powderpuff, we got one full body Powderpuff coming out. She is in Aaron Rick's car. So we're going to give her a few laps. right, now it's time for Powderpuff Modifieds as they pull out onto the track. Appears we got 2 of the Powderpuff Modifieds. We got 3 Powderpuff Modifieds. Hey, everybody. Everybody. Safety crew down there doing what they do best.
Yeah, she's okay signing you this one.
Driver is okay. She is okay, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, that'd be good infield track, wouldn't it?
Yes, and it's